You ready, sir?
Yes, I am indeed. Fire away.
You've seen the protocol now.
I have.
So it's
I
easy.
have. I'm somewhat familiar with it now at this stage. Go ahead and knock yourself out. Good.
And we are back for our fifth and final. Have they saved the last to the best? The best
Absolutely. That was the whole purpose of me going last, to save the best.
Right,
for last.
okay.
Definitely,
So we end
without
on a crescendo or are we ending on a low?
whichever way you want. I always aim to please, buddy. I always aim to please. So whatever works for you, whatever floats your boat, you let me know.
And you are?
My name is Conor Hayes.
Conor Hayes.
Yes.
Now, you are kind of completing our journey around
The
the
globe.
world.
Yes, that's right. Originally from Limerick City in the southwest of Ireland.
I don't think I've ever met anybody from Limerick.
It's not a very memorable place, to be honest with you, so maybe it's a good thing that you haven't met a lot of people from my home city.
Really?
So,
'Cause
no, I'm joking.
I've never met an Irishman who's not patriotic, who's not like, I wish I could go back home.
No, not necessarily. Even though I love Ireland, don't get me wrong, but I've spent my entire adult life outside of Ireland, so I've been an expat my entire adult life, so I'm just accustomed to the expat lifestyle at this point, you know? Yeah.
What got you out to start with?
Just the desire to just broaden my horizons and so forth. I'm a little bit of an anomaly in the insurance industry in that I made a conscious decision when I was 16 that I wanted to be an insurance broker. So I knew since I was barely finished secondary school, or high school as they call it over here, I knew I wanted to be an insurance broker. So I actually studied insurance at both undergraduate level and postgraduate level as well. So
You can study insurance?
Absolutely. I studied international insurance and Spanish at my hometown university, University of Limerick back in Ireland, which at the time was the only third level institution in Ireland and the UK which offered a specific degree in insurance and risk management. Yeah. I know that sounds incredibly geeky, but here we go. Yeah. I know.
I really didn't know that was a specialist.
No, absolutely.
I guess it has to be.
Well, it makes sense because remember, Ireland is on the doorstep of London, and London houses the biggest insurance industry in the entire world. So being a London market insurance broker is a pretty big deal. It would be the same as being, like, I guess a London market insurance broker would share the same status as maybe a lawyer or an accountant over here, you know? So,
And you combine that with Spanish?
I did, because I had to pick up a European language. It was a course requirement, so I just learned Spanish from scratch. Yeah.
Just learning like that.
I did. Well, I actually spent a year, and here starts the journey. I actually spent a year, I did a 1-year internship in Venezuela when I was 21, and then I studied in Spain in the University of Alicante for a year. I had a scholarship to play rugby there for a year, so when I was 22. So I've been around geographically.
Hooker?
So I've been around. So
Are you hooker or are you?
geographically. I
No,
said,
your
yeah.
position.
No, back in the day, 15 years ago and maybe 25 pounds ago, I was actually a winger. Yeah, I was a winger. I was pretty quick back in the day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I could do the 100 meters in just under 12 seconds when I was 18. Yeah, that is the truth. Yeah.
Good Lord, I'm getting some
That is the truth.
revelations here.
That is the truth. Yeah, I only clocked under 12 seconds once in my entire life, but it was when I was just about to turn 18. Yeah. But so
Good
rugby,
Lord.
as you can tell, is my passion outside of what I do for MHD.
Do you still play?
No, I retired 5 years ago.
Retired?
Because I was playing until I was 35. So I now 40. I used to play semi-pro back in the UK. Yeah, I played semi-pro there for
I can see
a
why
few
they left
years.
you to the end. This is amazing.
Yeah, so I know, yeah. But I gave up rugby 5 years ago. I tried to take up golf, and then I tried to take up tennis, and I was like, this is so unfulfilling, so I did the natural thing, and I took up martial arts instead. So I've been doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Muay Thai kickboxing for the last 5 years now.
Good Lord. I tell you, the thing I miss about rugby is getting my knees bleeding. I really miss that sensation.
The adrenaline when you come off the field.
Yeah.
You know, I love it, absolutely love it. I know what you mean. Just like waking up the following morning and you're a bit battered and bruised, but you just feel so invigorated at the same time because you know you put in a hard shift the previous day.
Because I was centre and...
Oh, you were centre, were you?
I remember our wingers being lanky, tall fellas.
Yeah.
And so you were fast and small.
I was known for my sidestep. I was very evasive. I was very evasive. Yeah, very evasive. Because you know how rugby is like.
Sneaky bastard. That's what you were.
That's exactly. In more than just rugby, but. But you know what rugby is like. Either you're a big guy that can bash people out of the way, or you're one of these evasive, skinny guys that can, of weave your way. And I was skinny once upon a time. So yeah.
Yeah. It really, it's kind of crept up on me. I'm really shocked, especially after this summer.
Yeah, I hear you. Particularly after this year. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So you've always wanted to be a yacht broker.
An insurance broker.
Insurance broker.
True. Yes.
You trained specifically for that.
Yes, I did. Yes,
you travel around the world.
Yes, I have.
And you played. Did you get paid to play rugby?
No, when semi-pro was like you didn't have to pay to play, as in they would pay for your annual subscriptions, for all of your equipment, for your physiotherapist, for your transportation costs. Because if you're playing amateur rugby, you're expected to front those fees yourself. But so semi-pro was we didn't get paid, but we got to play. We essentially got everything provided for us, like or as I said, physiotherapy or transportation costs, any type of other cost that we would have to incur while being on the road. Yeah, but it was good fun.
Right. So how did you find MHG then?
I was
career progression, or
I was working and living in the Cayman Islands. I was in the Cayman Islands in 2008, 2009. I met a lady in Miami, my ex-wife, and then the whirlwind romance soon ensued, and I ended up moving over to Miami for her. So we're talking nearly 11 years ago now, and so then I re-specialized in the marine industry here, because prior to moving to Florida, I was doing general commercial insurance, like people's commercial buildings or their fleets of cars or stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I only re-specialized in marine when I moved to Florida 10 years ago.
Personal opposed to building, or?
I do commercial marine. So you know the way the other divisions, they would insure the people on the boats, I would insure the boats and other assets as well. So we have a number of large charter fleets, all over the Caribbean. We have a few in Bahamas, we have a few in St. Thomas. So we insure these fleets of charter boats that maybe offer fishing charters or diving and snorkeling tours and stuff like that. We also do a lot of non-marine too, believe it or not. We do quite a number of law firms, believe it or not, particularly down in Miami. Law firms, yeah, we would insure the legal liability for the law firms. For example, if they were to ever screw up and one of their clients were to sue them for failure to represent them properly. So we would do that.
And you do this under MHG?
I do it under MHG as well. So I would be the business development manager for the commercial division of MHG. So I would be the principal person responsible for bringing in sales. So what I done, I learned new skills and certainly new industry sectors when I came to MHG, which was mainly marine related, but I had also acquired expertise in different industry sectors prior to joining MHG, so I've tried to amalgamate them together here and kind of diversify or target industries per se, because one thing that we did learn from this whole COVID-19 debacle was that the value of the diversification, because up until this year we were heavily specialised my division were heavily specialised in the cruise industry, so you can imagine how that's gone for us this year.
So what I'm starting to see then is MHG, although it's been going 30 years, it's still a relatively small company, but the growth potential,
it's enormous. It's enormous, absolutely. The commercial division would be one of the newer divisions as well. But as I said, it's not something that MHG started with, but it's something that's definitely beginning to take off over the last 3 or 4 years. So as I said, we would insure the assets as opposed to the people, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
It's a fascinating industry. Like without insurance, plain and simple, cars don't drive. planes don't fly, boats don't sail, and shops don't open, stores don't open. It's as simple as that.
Isn't it?
It is fundamental to the functioning of any economy because it transfers the risk to a third party. Because no business owner, let's say you own a nightclub and you have 1,000 people in your nightclub on a Saturday night, there's no way you're going to open your doors unless you have legal liability insurance there, because you're just way too exposed. So it's just a fascinating industry to work in. There's no such thing as an all-encompassing insurance expert. That's impossible. That would be like a lawyer standing up saying that they're experts in criminal law and family law and international trade law and immigration law. It's lies. It's so diverse. If you were to put a policy that maybe my colleagues that you spoke with earlier today, if you were to put one of them policies in front of me, the ones that they deal with, you might as well be showing me Hebrew. I wouldn't understand it. So it's so diverse and it's fascinating. And there's so many risks and so many ingenious approaches and new inventive ways to insure risks that is happening every single year. I personally find it a fascinating industry to work in, and I'm not that geeky because I play rugby and I do martial arts and I cook, so I do have other interests besides insurance now before you start calling me a geek. All right, so I just thought I'd preempt that. All right, okay.
You got a good counter to
yeah, exactly. No, I've been fielding these for 20 years now. At this point, you're like, what? You made a decision? How boring a teenager were you? But
I interviewed a friend of mine who's a lawyer, and he knew he wanted to be a lawyer from watching Perry Mason and the law shows.
Yeah.
Who's your inspiration? Who's your role model
in the insurance industry? No.
There must have been something at some point that just went.
No.
Yeah, that's me.
No, I just did my research and I just found out that because the intention was to work in the London market. I just did my research and spoke with other graduates of the course that I pursued, and they're like, look, if you want a career in insurance, this is ideal because there's job opportunities aplenty in London. So, and as I said, it's only a 45-minute flight away from my hometown. It just seemed like a very natural progression.
Yeah. Do you ever go home?
Yes, of course. I go home at least, well, apart from this year, but normally I go home about twice a year.
Yeah, I only go home if I have to.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah.
Oh, Lord. So you're divorced?
Divorced. I am divorced, but I've recently remarried, so I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess.
Yep.
Yeah, glutton for punishment.
Did you insure yourself this time?
Sorry?
Did you insure yourself?
Yeah, I did. No, geez, now we've been together now for about 3 years, so everything is going well there. Don't have kids yet, but we're hoping that might be a possibility in the not too distant future.
Very cool.
Yeah. So that's my story, Lee, and I'm sticking with it.
Very good.
Yeah. Yeah.
What are you learning now then, apart from the jiu-jitsu?
Kickboxing. I'm doing Muay Thai kickboxing as well. I do Muay Thai. I've actually had a couple of fights. They didn't really go too well, so I won't be attending them ever
Well, you're
again.
Irish. Of course you've had fights.
I know. Imagine that. An Irish guy likes to fight. Shock, 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 horror, horror. Yeah. Imagine that. Yeah.
Shock of all shocks.
Yeah.
So, that completes our MHG experience.
Number 5.
And I do feel like we've ended on a high, because that's...
Yeah, what? Yeah.
I can see how everybody else has come into it, the industry, and developed a love and a passion for it.
Yeah.
And you've always had it.
Yeah, I've always had it. I've always wanted to be an insurance broker. As simple as that. As incredibly boring that sounds to the average person, but yeah, it's just been my thing.
Yeah. Very good.
Yeah.
So
are we good?
Good to see you, sir.
Absolute pleasure.
Yeah, and I'm not quite sure how we wrap up our.
Do we? I know.
Would you like a fight?
I would love that actually. No, yeah, but
I kind of feel like you want to fight.
Yeah, but can we do it after a few beers and more in a contained environment as well?
Well, no, we got the pugil stick.
Oh, okay, that's good. All right.
Good. So I can give you a pugil stick fight.
All right, okay. You want to do
pugil?
Okay,
beat the crap out of me.
No, it's okay. So, but the thing is that I don't train with weapons at all. So what do we do?
Hold on. We have to reset for this bit.
1, 2, 3.
Get up! Yes! Man, he was hitting me with things. Alright, that was fun.
Is it the best of 3?
Yeah, that's the 3.
I can see the tactic going on. Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Gets your heart going, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Of us fighting.
You don't need to be fighting.